We are live. Darren Lewis and Jermaine Defoe are in the house. Great to be in your company. Jermaine, of course, North London derby time. We have to go into the archives, though, because you've played in this game and you have scored a fantastic goal, which we're about to show everyone. Are you excited for the derby?
Yeah, it's the fixture that you speak about when you first signed for the club. I remember I signed for Tottenham and I had these red boots. And I came from West Ham. The kit man from it have been very quickly, but it's the game of the season, isn't it? For both clubs, for bragging rights, and yeah, I've had obviously great memories.
Yeah, it was a great goal. I don't want to remind you of the score. It was a 9-3. I said 5-4. Or
was it 5-4? Oh yeah, Robert Perez last goal, 5-4. Yeah.
What great goal. Yours is the one we care about today.
Yours is the one.
Exactly.
What a fixture. North London at a standstill. It's the one to headline the Premier League's return this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And what sort of Arsenal will turn up? Will it be the Arsenal that surrendered against Sunderland just before the international break, or will it be the one that carried all before them in the preceding, 10, 12 games, particularly in the Premier League where they were impregnable? But Sunderland may well have provided a blueprint to beat Arsenal. Don't give them the time and space. Don't give them the opportunity to launch those long throws into the box. Lots of people talking about the loss of Gabriel. I don't think that will make any difference whatsoever because Hincapié is only 23 years of age, but he was part of Bayern Munich's invincible team. He will slot straight into that side. He looks a terrific player. Mosquera as well is available if they want to play him. So I'm not necessarily worried about Gabriel, but it's Arsenal. Which Arsenal will turn up in this game?
You've just killed all my questions now, so let's move on to the next game. No, I'm just
kidding.
Knew
exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, he's preempted me. That's why he's so good. Well, it is the first North London derby of the season, a fierce rivalry that spans years and generations. Mikel Arteta's Arsenal come into this as title favourites, while Thomas Frank steps into his first derby looking to take the spoils and claim temporary bragging rights as the kings of North London.
Yeah, Gabi unfortunately picked up an injury with the Brazilian national team, and he's going to be out for weeks.
Can you give us any more clarity?
No, we need to have another scan. I think it's next Wednesday, and we will have the timeline probably much more clear than we have at the moment.
It's clearly a blow, but have you ever felt more comfortable about the players that you can actually bring in and the options that you have when you have injuries like this?
Yeah, it's clearly a blow because it's our leader in our backline, and to me, obviously, it's never a positive thing. The good thing, as you mentioned, is that we have very good options, and people have to stand up now and do the job.
Riccardo Calafiori missed the Italy games. Is he okay?
Yeah, he missed it. He wasn't available. He's been carrying a few things, and we have to bring him back. And he hasn't trained yet, so tomorrow we have another training session and see how he is.
What chance the other injuries that you've had in Gyökeres, Martinelli, and the other longer-term ones in Jesus, Havertz, Madueke, and... Have I missed anyone there?
So, yeah, we put a lot of energy during the international break with all the medical staff as well to try to bring them as quick as possible. So tomorrow we have another training session, see how some of them are feeling, whether it's a bit too close to bring them in this game or we feel that they can have a contribution in the game. So tomorrow we'll have more clarity.
So there is a possibility some of them could be in the squad?
Yeah, well, I'm hopeful that we can make another step tomorrow, but certainly I cannot tell you.
And you can tell us the names of those?
No. I can, but I'm not going to do it.
I know you've spoken about the North London derby before. I mean, you've managed the North London derby. You've played in some of the most ferocious derbies in world football. What makes this one so unique, so special for you?
It's just different. I mean, it's a big city, but it's a big rivalry. It's a part of London that we want to conquer. They want to do the same. There's been a lot of shifts as well over the years as well, who's been more dominant, and it's just beautiful, especially when we play at home in front of our people. We know what it means to them, and the energy that they're going to bring, the energy that the team is going to bring in every single action, and it's just a privilege to play those kind of games. So we cannot wait to get to Sunday.
You mentioned the fans, and it obviously means so much to them, to both sets of fans. But how big a challenge is it to separate what their needs are and trying to focus on what is just a game that you want to win and you must win to get 3 points?
It's about bringing it into the table. That's the context of the game, and that's a superpower. You know, when you have everybody playing with that passion and with their emotion with the team every single ball, it makes a difference. And we've been very privileged the way that the fans have been with us at the Emirates, and especially against our rivals. And on Sunday, I'm sure that the team is going to behave and make them very proud.
You mentioned the recent record. It has been very good from your perspective. 5 wins and a draw in your last 6 North London derbies. Can you put your finger on why the record has been so good? Have you been able to separate the actual occasion with the actual game?
Yeah, it's a game that emotionally requires something else, and you cannot be too hype, but at the same time, that game demands that in every ball, in every action, you have to be at it a bit more than in any other game. And we have found a really good balance. Obviously, we played well. Sometimes we have decided to win. Sometimes we've been a bit lucky as well to win. That's fair as well to say. So on Sunday, we need a really, really good performance to beat them.
I wonder, Mikel, if you...
They are good, most of them. I'm just thinking, you said Pape trained today, is ready, available. Lucas trained today, ready, available. What was that? That was Kolmoani, yes, trained today. Available, of course, have a mask you need to play with. And Dom is not ready yet. I think he also had an article recently where he spoke about it. So we are very, as I said, it's the same, very aware that when we put him out there, we want to be absolutely sure that, as sure as we can be, that no setback going forward. So and I'm comfortable he will soon. But I'll be ready, but I will not put a time frame on it.
A number of London clubs consider Spurs as their big derby, but this one here, without doubt, is the big one, Arsenal. When you took this job, did you know about the importance of this rivalry, and how excited are you? I know you've played them in a friendly, but this is the real one. Yeah,
this is the real one. Super excited. Of course, before I stepped into the club, of course I knew about the North London derby. But it's when you are in it, you sense it and feel that this is important. You feel from the fans, you feel from the staff members, the players, the people that's been working here for years. This is the big one. I always say the next one the next game is the most important game, and we'll always have that. But I'm very, very, very aware there's 2 games in a year that's even more important, and this is the first of them. And we're ready, we're up for it, we are looking forward to it, and we'll do everything we can to win.
It's fierce, it's emotional. The fans stand for the entire 90 minutes. They sing, they are loud. The atmosphere is unlike anything. Tell us from a player's point of view, though, what it's like playing in this game.
It's a different sort of feeling. Throughout the week, it's a massive game. Not just for the players, for the club, the fans, and everyone involved. You're reminded when you go out in the streets. It's the North London derby. We've got to win. That sort of importance. But saying that, I think for players, and even though it sounds boring, you always try and play the game, not the occasion, if that makes sense, because you don't want to get caught up in it too much. You don't want your performance to change in any way. You want to try and sort of prepare like it's a normal game or any other game. But there's just a different feel. We saw some of the footage there, some of the tackles and the importance and even the change before, even in the warm-up, for the captain and the senior players to remind, can you win the first tackle? They have to free us for anything else. You have to be hard to play against. It's different.
You've played in some sides with Freddie Canute, Michael Carrick, Gareth Bale, some real match winners, Luka Modric in the side. Do you look at this Tottenham side and see potential match winners out beyond the striker going into this game?
I think there's match winners, but I think these players have to produce now. Xavi Simons, he's come in with a big reputation, even though he's still young. But over the years, he's been talked about a lot. I feel like he can do a lot more. You talk about numbers now. When you're a forward player, whether that's a number 10, number 9, wingers, you're forward players. You're judged on goals and assists. It's as simple as that. That's why you're in the team. Kulusevski, for me, that's a big miss. You know, he's the one really. Maddison, another injury. Kudos, massive signing. You know, it's someone who I believe can still go to the next level in terms of goals and assists.
Forgive me, but if you were going to play Kudus as a striker, where do you want him supplying you the ammunition? Out wide or just behind you so that he can find the pass that puts you in?
I think he's that good he can play anywhere across. I think he can play as a 10.
Where do you want him as a striker?
I think for me, he'll play wide, he'll play on the right, where he can come inside. But Dow, I understand what you're saying. If he's more central, then he could feed you. But I still believe that football's about relationships. So even if you get a left footer that plays on the right, when he comes inside, because he can go on the outside, he can come on the inside. When he comes inside as the number 9, that's my trigger to move. So just that connection, you have to know when to move. You can't just move for the sake of moving. You have to understand when to move, and it's about relationship, like I said. But when he comes inside, that's where you've got to move and make these little darting runs. He doesn't necessarily have to be at the centre of the pitch as the number 10 and playing balls through. You can do that from the sides. But yeah, for me, he's been one of the better signings out of all the clubs this season.
It's just also the first North London derby from a Spurs point of view without Kane or Son in the team. First time since 2014, and they've, between them, scored 27% of Spurs' goals in the last little while. If there are to be goals, and we saw a sensational goal from yourself, where are they going to come from? Who takes that responsibility?
Well, you like to think it'll come from anywhere, to be honest. I mean, a big part of the game, not just now, but forever, has been set pieces. You know, you look at this Arsenal team. I played against Arsenal teams where they play the best football in the league, you know, and, you know, you talk about Pep Guardiola's teams, like how they play now. I mean, Arsenal was doing that years ago, you know, with the Perez, Thierry Henry, Ashley Cole on the left-hand side, how they used to overload on the left-hand side and create these triangles, and it was so difficult to stop. But now it's almost like they're a set-piece team, long throws. You know, every dead ball, they take their time, the set-up's right, and they win games like that. And for me, Tottenham, I think there's been a big focus when Thomas Frank's come in. There's been a big focus on, you know, keeping clean sheets. I think under Ange, going forward, Tottenham would always create chances. You know, one of the better teams to watch in the Premier League. But I think since this new manager's come in, Thomas Frank and Justin Cochran, I think there's been a massive focus on keeping clean sheets first. First and foremost, we keep clean sheets, and hopefully at the top end of the pitch, these players can go and make the difference.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer all action, Ange, or do you prefer safety first, Frank?
I think you need a bit of both. I think it depends on the environment. I think it depends who you're playing against.
For this game, then,
I think for this game,
if you're the striker at the spearhead of this team, what do you want for this game?
I think for this game, form goes out the window. I think it doesn't matter how teams have performed before. I think this is a one-off game, and Tottenham have to start this game on the front foot. You can't allow Arsenal to get into their rhythm and have long periods without the ball, especially away from home, because it'll be difficult. I think Tottenham have to start fast.
Yeah, they do have that great record away from home, though, Darren.
Yeah.
Still the only team unbeaten in the Premier League. It's interesting that the home form can't quite match that. So they'll probably be happy the first North London derby is away from home then.
Yeah, I think they'll be delighted. I think a big part of the reason why is that Frank is used to being at a Brentford team, with a Brentford team that sets up to contain superior opposition. So he's very adept at being able to do that. And I think as far as Spurs are concerned, there is a lot of pressure at home in front of their own fans. I think it will come eventually, but at the moment, they're a side that's set up to contain and hit teams on the break. And I think that's what will happen. There's a lot of pressure on Arsenal in front of their own fans, particularly after the last game where they were held by Sunderland. No one expected that to be the case. So I think this is going to be a fascinating one, but I do share your concern about the lack of potential match winners in the side. If you look at these numbers here, they tell the full story of this season, because at home they are one of the worst teams in the Premier League, but away from home they are the very best. And I think 13 points out of 15 gives them a lot of confidence going into this match.
It's interesting how that happens.
Yeah. It is strange because people probably think, you know, your home form is where, you know, as players, you probably feel more comfortable playing in front of your home fans, and, you know, this is our home, and, you know, you're confident because these are your home fans, and away from home is normally difficult. And on the other hand, maybe it's, you know, that sort of like a little bit of freedom away from home, not playing in front of your home fans, having that sort of pressure on you. But it's interesting what you said there about, you know, at Brentford, you know, his teams were always set up to, like I said before, first and foremost, just be solid and not concede. And then, you know, on a counter-attack, you know, can we show that quality on a counter-attack and go and score goals? And I think because of Tottenham last season, it was the complete opposite, where you know, they took the ball and dominated possession, because that was Ange's principle. So, you know, dominate possession, create a lot of chances, but conceded too many. And I think the manager's come and thought, right, we just need to be solid. We have to be solid in that. We've got good players in the team. And then it just seems that at home, it just seems like they're playing off the cuff a little bit. There's no patterns. We need a little bit more structure. We saw that last season, but, you know, conceded too many. So I think once they get the balance right, then they'll be OK.
I love the point you make about set pieces, because there has been this big debate about set pieces, long throws and that kind of thing. I have zero problem with it. I think, particularly for some of the weaker teams in the Premier League, and that, I'm not ascribing that to Tottenham. Tottenham have a lot of quality, they've spent a lot of money. But if you look at the Premier League as a whole, there are lots of teams that do have that financial power, that do have that superior technical ability, and there are teams that don't have that. So what they have to do is disrupt. They have to find ways to be able to pierce strong defences, launch balls into the box and test the discipline, the organisation of those superior teams. And that might well be a way that Spurs can get something out of what is a technically and tactically and defensively superior Arsenal team.
I want to go back to Arsenal and a point you made earlier on about Sunderland and the blueprint that they provide. I know you said many people... I actually think did you make a prediction?
Yeah, I did.
It would go Arsenal's way. You're right. No, you're right. Most people did expect it. But Sunderland at home is a very different story. And they have been impressive at home. Would you then say that this was a case of 2 points dropped?
Definitely 2 points dropped. No Arsenal fan or neutral would have looked at that fixture and seen anything other than an Arsenal victory. And, you know...
Confident.
No, absolutely. And the quality of their finishes, I mean, you speak better to them than me.
Yeah, but I just feel like Sunderland now, you've got a Sunderland team that's just confident, fearless. You know, beating Chelsea, I think they took a lot out of that game. Young players that have got a point to prove, you know, first time in the Premier League, you know, just want to just enjoying their football. A manager that his demeanour is just so calm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but of course you expect Arsenal to win, of course.
You do, I do. What I think helped Sunderland in that match, I don't like necessarily talking about physicality, because it's a very one-dimensional way of talking about footballers. But it was the fact that they used that physicality in a very intelligent way to disrupt, particularly with that final equalising goal. They were very smart about the way that they put balls into the box and challenged an Arsenal team to defend against them. And they managed to capitalise on that misunderstanding between the centre-half and the goalkeeper and grab that goal. And that's the reason why I think this could be a similar kind of game. Balls into the box. Let's see what Arsenal are made of. Let's see if they do have that organisation without Gabriel. I know I mentioned them, no problem. Hincapié will, I think, come in. He will do well. But I do expect it to be a game of inches, if you like. And I do think that we'll see free kicks, corners. They limited corners for Arsenal, Sunderland in that game. I think they only had 2 corners in that match. That was another element that they used. Lebris really did his homework. Really did his homework. And that's why he's caught the eye of a number of clubs higher up.
Even the balls on the side of the pitch. You brought the balls in. I don't know if you
Yeah,
noticed.
the advertising hoardings.
The advertising board is...
So they couldn't launch long balls into the box.
Right, just that small detail, that makes a big difference.
And Frank is a man of details. This is the point. Frank is a guy who will look at Arsenal, they'll see the areas. He knows the quality. This is a great... thanks, guys, because I think this shows you just how much... And you might think it's nothing, yeah? But if you look at the right-hand side picture, the lack of run-up that
off the pitch.
Arsenal's players would have had compared to the one on the left... It makes all the difference in being able to launch that ball deep into the opposition box to try and be able to be on the back post. They know that. What do Arsenal do? They flick it on at the near post, maybe grab it at the far post, or Gabriel can bully his way past defenders and get into the box. Sunderland did well, and I think it's really interesting, something that Pep Guardiola said in his press conference Friday lunchtime. He said, the season starts here. Yeah. And City got Arsenal within range. Which Arsenal will turn up?
Yeah, because I think it's the first time they're really needing, except for the Liverpool game, which, you know, is a game with the reigning champions, and you expect that there would be a little bit of trouble. You're ready for it to go either way. The Sunderland game, as you said, was a little bit different. And as you mentioned, Jermaine, they were confident going there. Now they have to recover because it's the first time that they've conceded twice in the season. It's the first time since, September that they'd conceded a goal, which they'd celebrated and were lauded for that run of clean sheets at an end. Now we're wondering how they're going to respond, and we're kind of waiting, and it's the first time this season that they're needing to do that.
But I don't think they'll panic. I think because what they've showed is they're a team that, don't concede a lot. When you've got defenders celebrating blocks, that's a good sign. So I don't think they'll panic.
But on the flip side, if you're in the Spurs dressing room, right, before this game, are you saying to everyone, we saw that Sunderland could do it, we can do this, guys?
Of course, yeah. I think, but even before the Sunday game, I still. But even when you play against teams that that keeps clean sheets, but you still have to go there and believe that you're going to score.
Is that what you do?
I think so, but I just think this game's different. Like I said before, even though Tottenham, they've been good on the road, and they've not created too many chances, but this game could be completely different because in a game like this, you should get the best version of every player.
So where the goal's going to come from for Arsenal then? Who are going to be the match winners? Because, Victor Gyökeres, with his injury issue, could be missing. Mikel Arteta could be asked to play up top once again. Who do you think will be scoring the goals?
I think Saka's the one.
Yeah,
isn't he? I think Saka's the one. If it was me, we'd be saying, if we can keep this guy quiet, then we've got a chance. Because he's a match winner. Of course, they've got other players, of course, but for me, I think he's the one really that can he can create, he can score, he can do everything. So for me, he's definitely the one.
Yeah, that's the injury list for Arsenal. I think Ricardo Calafiori on international duty, the same for Gabriel. Gabriel Jesus, I think, is back in training, but probably too soon for him.
I see, interesting that you look at this list, and there is some serious quality in this list, and yet the side and the squad that will come out for this game is still very, very strong. It's a real vindication of the transfer policy of Andrea Berta and obviously the work that Arteta's done in the transfer window. They're not worrying about this list too much, even though there is some serious quality in this list. And I agree with Jermaine. I think it will be Saka. You know what he's going to do, but how hard it is to stop him. I think on the other side, Eze will relish the opportunity to start games and really test the fullback with his creativity. Porro won't be able to get forward anywhere near as much as he likes to because Eze will pin him in. And then in the midfield, who is it who's going to step up? Marino likely, I think, to start. So they'll make sure they've got somebody on him. So it might well be a chess game where lots of different players cancel each other out, or will test the other. How much can you concentrate? Will there be that?
I think it's a massive game for Eze.
I was going to ask you, as a lifelong Arsenal fan, as a player who'd been there in his youth.
Listen, it's a massive game for him because, that's why he signed for Arsenal. So playing huge games like this, he's going to want to make an impression, and. Like he said, he was close. The Tottenham thing, he was close. But obviously, he's an Arsenal fan.
Do you know him?
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah?
Good guy.
Well, what
amazing.
How will he approach it?
His journey is amazing. And I think it's important for young players that have gone through similar situations in terms of being released and not giving up, just always believed that he was good enough. I think got released 4 times from 4 different clubs. And to still go on and to do what he's done, it's just an amazing story.
So he won't feel pressure going into it. Is that what you're saying?
I think it's normal. You're human. Yeah. He'll feel pressure because he knows that people are looking at him thinking, right, now, can you do it? This is why you've come. He said, no disrespect to Crystal Palace. He's at Arsenal now. It's a North London derby. It's a huge game.
Can you text him now and ask him if he's nervous?
Let's video call him. Let's FaceTime him. Let's do it. Come on.
You know what the boys are like? They'll be like, no. Because if someone says to me, are you nervous? I'll be like, nah, not nervous.
Just FaceTime him. Anyway, I've just thought about the reception you're probably going to get from the Spurs fans as well. Jermaine Defoe, we're going to see in the break if we can get him to.
Welcome to the second half of Premier League Friday. The North London derby is the standout fixture of this weekend. We'll be getting a tactical analysis of when and how Arsenal became the world champions of set pieces shortly. But first, Manchester City have emerged as Arsenal's main title rivals. City are away at Newcastle on Saturday night and have the chance to move just a point behind Arsenal. And when it comes to the title race, Pep Guardiola said today, the real season starts now.
Now start the season really, right? So there is 2 parts of the season. It's when the transfer window is over in summer, and after when international break is over. And now international break is done. So now we'll be until March see each other every 3 days, 4 days, 3 days, 4 days game. So now it's the real season start now. And the important is to be there, to be close there. And after that, arrive at the end of the season with the chance that we can fight it. That is the target. And of course, winning tomorrow will be an important step for us.
I think I've said many times already that at this moment of time, we're not even thinking or talking about it. Actually, we didn't do this last season as well when we were top of the league. It's just about the next game. And I've said many times last season, and I say this season again as well, the best way to judge a league table is after 38 games, but the next best thing, in my opinion, is after 19 games. And now, let's see where we are then. But at this moment of time, the only focus we have is winning games of football, which it was actually the same last season at this moment of time.
Do you feel like your team now has nastiness and edge to go on and win these games and titles?
Yes, I do feel that we have everything that it takes to win. Yeah.
Who are the nastiest players?
It's not about that. I don't know if that's the best word. It's at the end you need to have everything that requires to win, and then you have to deliver and do it. But I really believe in my team.
I can't really argue because you've been part of a team that at this point in the season, after 11 games played, I want to pull this up because it was quite interesting. This is, after 11 games played, your Blackburn side that you captained, and you were fourth at this moment.
Yeah.
Sitting on 21 points behind leaders Newcastle, who hadn't lost a game. I mean, is it easier to chase than be chased?
We never really thought about it. You know what? In the season before, we probably led for a few months as well. So we just think, just accumulate as many points as you possibly can. After 11 games, the season, Pep's absolutely right today, the season hasn't started, it starts in April. March, end of March, April, that's when it starts. You cannot win the league now, you can lose the league now. You can be so far behind. We was 8 points behind there, but the team who was at the top had never done it before either. If that was Man United at the top, not sure in your mind you think you can catch them because they had the experience of winning it twice previously. So it's all up to play for. I think it would be very exciting, but it's all about when the nerves in not only on the game time, but during the week, in the build up to the games, watching the opposition, who your rivals play, picking up points, who plays first. I think it's an advantage to play first and get the points on the board. The nerves, what it's created is nothing now after 11 games to what it will be in April.
So you think it's a mentality? It's Arsenal have got the squad. It's can they mentally do it?
Yeah, but you've got to do it. Someone's got to do it. Someone Liverpool never done it for donkey's years. All of a sudden they got over the line and they've done it again since. So I believe if Arsenal can get over the line, I think they can dominate for a few years.
Yeah. What would you prefer, Julian? Prefer to be the hunter? Or
I think the hunter is always better for me. But again, I've never been in the position. But I would rather be the one chasing and trying to catch you.
But Man United didn't want to be the hunter on the last day.
No, true.
Because it was no good to
Exactly, that's very true. So I think there's pros and cons in both, like playing first or playing second.
Always. Well, plenty has been said and written about Arsenal's threat from set pieces and, in particular, corners. But what makes them so dangerous? We asked our resident tactico Pythagoras in boots to look into it.
Since 2018, Arsenal have transformed from a mid-table set-piece side into the most dangerous dead ball team in the Premier League, and that change is no accident. The Premier League has undergone a quiet evolution when it comes to set-piece football, and it's been driven by the elite teams. Liverpool, under Jurgen Klopp, were the first top team to take set-pieces seriously, and their method of delivery was targeting the likes of Van Dijk with outswingers towards the penalty spot, rather than in-swingers into crowded areas towards the goalkeeper, near post, or the far post areas. But then Arsenal took on that baton and evolved it further. Since the arrival of Nicolas Jova, Arsenal have been the #1 corner-taking team for the past 4 seasons, and they're on target to make it number 5. And one of the biggest factors behind this success is the transformation of their delivery type. Before Jova, Arsenal used very few in-swinging corners, favouring outswingers under Arteta's early tenure, but the arrival of Jova marked a change to the point where Arsenal used exclusively in-swinging deliveries. In-swingers drive the ball bluntly into that 6-yard box. They collapse defensive shape, they generate rebounds, and they put real pressure on the goalkeeper. It's in stark contrast to Liverpool's approach, which was away from bodies, into space, targeting that penalty spot instead, whereas Arsenal welcome that man-to-man physical contact. Gabriel epitomises the physical, high contact and chaotic nature of Arsenal's in-swinging strategy. He's looking to win collisions, he's looking to bully markers and attack that ball aggressively. An added benefit of swarming the near post, the far post and suffocating the goalkeeper's zone is that the ball is more likely to drop loose into areas where you can get a second contact. And this is where Arsenal are becoming increasingly more effective. The likes of Zubimendi and Eze have scored goals from rebound situations. Which begs the question, how do you combat Arsenal? Well, the first thing you need to do is get key men into that zonal area of the near post and the far post, get blockers around the likes of Gabriel, Marino, stop them making runs with momentum into those zones close to the 6-yard area. Whilst Liverpool kickstarted the revolution of taking set pieces more seriously, the truth is that Arsenal are looking further back in time. They're inspired by the likes of Tony Pulis' Stoke, Big Sam's Bolton. It's all about making it a physical game close to the 6-yard area. But the truth is, they're taking it to a brand new level.
In swinging corners, out swinging corners. I mean, it's the question I've always wanted to ask. Tim, do you prefer an innie or an outie?
I know what goalkeepers don't want. They don't want the in-swinger. They don't want it on top of them. That's what they don't want. So it's very interesting, that. Very, very interesting. But it's all about delivery. Declan Rice, Saka, delivery is unbelievable. Odegaard when he plays. But it's all about wanting to go and head that ball. You saw the man who unfortunately you won't be seeing for your sake at the weekend, Gabriel. He takes everything with him. Everyone's scared of him. You know, he moves, he doesn't see anyone, he's not caring about anyone's welfare or his own, and he just sticks his head on that ball time and time again.
The structure won't change. It's just that the one attacking the ball will probably be Marino now, who I think will start as number 9 on Sunday instead of Gabriel. So maybe Marino's probably...
It'll be Marino?
I think Marino will play as a 9 on Sunday.
But as Gabriel's
I think he's
role.
the best head of the squad after Gabriel.
Right.
I think he's amazing in the air. He reads the trajectory well. He's got great timing. He's strong. He's big. So the structure would be the same. Timber would do the same job. Saliba would do the same job. Calafiori would do the same job. Everybody, Trossard would block. The little man would block. It would be exactly the same structure, except that no Gabriel. It could be Calafiori, it could be somebody else, but I think it would be Marino who's going to try to attack the ball like Gabriel. It might not be the same result, of course, because Gabriel is very special in that. But the structure won't change. What Nicolas Jover has put together won't change. It's just the attacker of the ball will be different.
How difficult is it to defend those types of corners when the delivery is so good like that, Tim?
Almost impossible when you've got someone like Gabriel wants to head it like he does. The key to it is the delivery. That's everything. If the delivery is not good, everything falls down. And isolating the goalkeeper and paralysing him. Yeah. And Vicario, you can easily do that. You know, he struggles from that area. We saw against Tottenham played Chelsea at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Yeah. And Maresca done a very clever thing. He just cleared the pathway. So he left 3 up the field. So Tottenham can't attack with maximum numbers. So they had to go back and mark players. It cleared the way for the goalkeeper to come through and start punching. That's what you need.
To the fantasy show, the international break is over. And it was quite a lively one, wasn't it? With quite a few repercussions for FPL as well. Don't worry, we're going to get into all of that very shortly. But first, let's take a look at how game week 12 is shaping up in terms of fixtures. The deadline this time around is on Saturday at 11 a.m. UK time. That's 90 minutes before Burnley face Chelsea in the early game. Then we've got 5 matches at 3 o'clock, including Liverpool against Nottingham Forest. And then Manchester City and Erling Haaland head to Newcastle in the late game. On Sunday, we have 2 matches with all eyes on Arsenal against Spurs. And then game week 12 concludes finally on Monday with Manchester United taking on Everton. And joining me in the studio today, I'm in for Kelly, and we've got 2 guests as well. We've got Gianni Buttice and Az Phillips as well. Thank you for coming in, guys. Nice to have a little bit of company. It has been an eventful fortnight, so just how many flags are we facing up to, Gianni?
Yeah, a couple for me, but I am seeing squads which look like a set of traffic lights, you know, flags all over. And we always get this in the international break, perhaps not quite this bad.
No.
But of course, most have got good benches and transfers, right?
Right, Az?
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult season for a lot of people, myself included, so looking at a team filled with injury doubts isn't ideal, but it does give us opportunity. You know, highly owned players, if they are going to be missing out for a few weeks, it might be the chance to go for someone a bit different and hopefully climb the ranks.
Well, you're speaking about highly owned players. In case you missed the news during the international break, it does look like the highest scoring and most owned defender in the game, Gabriel, is going to be out injured for a little while. So, does that mean it's time to sell? Is there any debate over this?
Yeah, I think given that he is the most expensive defender we own and he's probably the most highly owned as well, he's also the top scoring defender, so you can see why. But I think he's got to be a sell. I think if he's going to be out for a month, it's going to be a very congested schedule over that period when he's going to be coming back. And there's some good options as well, you know, right across the different price brackets. So easy sell for me.
Looking at the fixtures, do you still want Arsenal coverage in the defence? The defence has been excellent so far. A lot of us have been doubled up on it. So Is this an opportunity to go elsewhere, or do you stay where you are?
Yeah, I think if you don't already have an Arsenal defender or David Raya in place, moving Gabriel to another Arsenal defender to give you that cover probably makes sense. Although, look, most managers, myself included, already have a David Raya or a Timber or a Saliba. So with that in mind, then maybe you are looking to go elsewhere. I mean, they're the best defence in the league by some distance, and I don't even worry too much about tough fixture runs for Arsenal because they will go and keep clean sheets in any given fixture.
Will they be that good without Gabriel, though? It's a big part of their success.
Yeah, there's a small sample size of games he's missed, and we have seen these numbers drop in his absence, but not huge. It's a marginal drop. And whoever comes in, whether that's Mosquera or Mbappe, or if Calafiori plays left centre-back, it's still a very good back four.
Yeah, he's mentioned there about some of the doubt in defence about exactly how Gabriel is replaced. We'll have to wait and see what Mikel Arteta does, and that could change week to week. So I've seen your team as. Everyone else will see it a little bit later. You've got Declan Rice. So is that the solution? Double up in attack if you're moving off a defender?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I think Arsenal are just such a good team in terms of the way they press, the system they've got in place. You know, we see in the Champions League players come in and out, and it doesn't seem to make any difference. You know, they've kept this run of incredible clean sheets up until Sunderland. You know, playing different fullbacks, you know, different centre backs maybe coming in at different stages to give people like Saliba a rest, or when he's been injured. So I'm not too worried about that. And Rice loses a bit of his appeal because obviously Gabriel is such a threat from the set pieces.
That's where the corners are going, yeah.
Yeah. So are we going to see Saliba maybe step up and maybe take some of that responsibility off Gabriel? Does it limit Rice? I still think you want to have at least one Arsenal defender, personally.
Amatai, and this is 100 games in 47 days, which all starts tomorrow. The early kick-off is Burnley against Chelsea. Liverpool against Forest is one of 5 3 p.m. games, which also includes Rob Edwards' first game in charge of Wolves as they host Palace. Got 3 games to follow through to Monday night. As we mentioned, the North London derby, but it's Manchester United against Everton, which closes out the weekend on Monday night.
Big game, and this is where we want you to get involved. The big game of the weekend. But who is going to take the spoils? Will it be red? Will it be blue? Or, and I'm not going to call it City, somehow feel you've got the longer straw here.
Obviously, of course.
I'm going to give you 30 seconds to tell me exactly why. I've got a bonus for you, though.
Talk to me.
But I'm going to give you 30 seconds to tell me why Arsenal are going to win the North London derby. You ready?
Yeah.
Your clock starts now.
Arsenal are unbeaten at home. The only goal they've conceded is Erling Haaland, who scores against everyone these days. Like I say, does favour the home side in a North London derby. No Gabriel, but I think their squad's now well equipped to deal with that. And I listen, they don't score many goals. I think it'll be 1-0. And also, Spurs' attack this season have been pretty poor, even though they have been better away from home. Son and Kane have scored their most goals in a North London derby by a country mile. Is anyone going to step up? I'm not sure.
Nice, Liv. I like that. I like that.
That was good.
OK, so I've got a little bonus for you.
Talk to me.
Why does he get a bonus?
Because I've got a harder argument to make.
Because your 30 seconds is why Arsenal won't win, which means you have Tottenham win and the draw.
Is that a bonus? I didn't think you were going to say that was a bonus.
That's a bonus.
That's a bonus, yeah.
Why Arsenal won't win? Because Tottenham have the draw as well.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Your 30 seconds start now.
I don't think Arsenal win because Arsenal are known to capitulate when things are not going their way, like injuries. We've seen it when, Aston Villa came to the Emirates and Ollie Watkins chipped the keeper. So Gabriel being injured, Calafiori being injured, Timber's got a knock. It's starting to shake already. We can all feel that, innit? And obviously, as Liv said earlier, Tottenham on the road are incredible. And Xavi Simons is going to prove to everyone that he's a better signing than Ebbs.
Oh, no, that you can't say that.
And I had 2 seconds to spare.
Yeah, I don't know if that worked in your favour, though.
I should have used that. Oh, no.
You just grasped on yourself. You just told yourself off there. I like when you speak right up to the
to
time
bang
there.
on the timer.
I think that. I mean, you both make very, very, very good points. You do. But I think Liv just won.
Yay!
I agree. I can see
just a little bit. Okay, we're going to
Thank
add
you.
a little bit more spice to this game, and well, I'll tell you what. Before we do that,
add a bit of
let's have a look
spice.
at the poll and
Before
see,
we add a bit of
because I
spice.
think this is the kind of thing that comes in really early, right? So the results as it stands: 62% of you think that Arsenal are going to win the North London derby. 38 thinking that they won't. I'm giving the draw to you.
That's quick
right, Nick?
maths.
That was that was great.
Yeah.
That was great, maths.
That's not hard, that one, is it? But yeah, keep scanning the QR code, please, and let us
62%
know
is a lot,
exactly
though, isn't it?
who you think's going to win the North London derby, huh?
It's a lot of a favour for us.
Yeah, it is. It might change, though. We've still got the rest of the show, and you can still vote right up until the end of the show. OK, now let us add some more spice to this, all right? And we'll find out what Spurs fans think of part of Arsenal's identity.
That was actually very funny, by the way, when he said North London forever.
We've been there for a long
We've been
time.
there for a long time. And he went, but not forever. North London for a long time. I'm not quite sure it works in the song, to be honest.
But they've taken over. All right, time for Mensa Challenge. The
Ooh,
real
the real one.
The real Mensa
We weren't very good at the first one.
Okay. We wasn't very good at the first one, but this one is a very interesting one. Which player holds the quickest record for a goal from a substitute in the North London derby? So it's the quickest player to come off the bench and score in a North London derby.
Genuinely, no
Please
idea.
scan the QR code. Let us know where you are. Send your selfies. Guys, you got any idea?
Genuinely not one
So I thought it was Cesc Fabregas, because I remember there's a goal where he comes off the bench and he scores a free kick, but I was wrong.
Is it going to be someone who
I think it's going to be someone
regularly comes
rogue.
off the bench?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe someone that like doesn't always start on the bench, but was on the bench, came off.
And prove the point.
I don't know.